Reb Pinchas was an innkeeper, and he had this very special servant. His name was Ivan. And Ivan knew that Reb Pinchas loved the Baal Shem Tov. So one day, Ivan goes over to Reb Pinchas and tells him, my master, I've got a very special surprise for you, if you're into it. It's got to do with the Baal Shem Tov. Reb Pinchas' face turned white. He said, yes, of course I'm into it. Let's do it. What is it? He says, well, before you decide, let me tell you, it involves a 2-hour carriage ride to a very isolated small village. And Reb Pinchas says, yes, I'm in, let's go. So he has him hitch up the carriage, and Reb Ivan takes the reins, and they start driving. And indeed, it's a 2-hour trip, and they get to this very small, isolated village, and Reb Pinchas gets out and sees this very small little hut. And Ivan leads the way, and they walk into the hut, and there sitting at the table is this older looking man. And Reb Ivan says, excuse me, where's your father? And the man looks and points at the corner of the room. He says, he's right over there on the bed. So the two walk over to the bed, and the bed was basically some wooden planks with a whole bunch of hay on it. And on top is this ancient looking man. And Ivan says in a cheerful voice, grandfather, please wake up. I brought someone that would love to hear your story about the Baal Shem Tov. And so, without hesitation, this old man starts cracking his bones, and as though coming back to life, starts crawling out from the bed, washes his hands, throws on this funny looking hat, and he starts his story. He says, I was a very young boy, and in the village that I grew up in, there was a saintly man named, that they called him Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov. And Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov used to always go the same path to the mikveh for a ritual immersion. And this particular day, me and my friends saw him walking, so we all took stones and we started throwing them at him. And after a little while, the Baal Shem Tov turned around, looked at us, and just shook his finger like this. Immediately, all my friends ran away except for me. I continued to throw stones at him. And then again, the Baal Shem Tov turned around, looked me right in the eyes, and just pointed down. And next thing I knew, I was sinking. And it was so quick, it was so shocking, I was panicking, I was screaming. I was starting to really lose air. I was gasping for air, trying to crawl out of this, but it seemed as though the earth itself was just swallowing me up. And all my friends and all the people came to help pull me out, but it was to no avail. No one could get me out. So they went to the local priest in the small village, and they told him what's going on and police to come help. The priest said, if the Baal Shem Tov did this, and only the Baal Shem Tov can undo this, and you have to go to him and seek help. So my family went to the Baal Shem Tov and told them, he's sorry, please help him. The Baal Shem Tov agreed to hear me out. So he came over to me and he asked me, are you sorry for what you've done? Immediately I started yelling, of course I'm sorry, please forgive me, please, I'll never do this again. I'll be sure to always pay my respects to all the Jews in town. I'll do whatever they want. I'll be their best friend. I apologize. Please help me. And the Baal Shem Tov nodded his head. He took the hat off his head and he put it on me. And just like that, with ease, I was able to get out. I walked out of there, and since then, I've always respected the Jewish people, and most importantly, I've always respected the Baal Shem Tov. Shavua Tov.